Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 1992-93 Stonesbridge Championship season. At Leeds, and Ellery Hanley leading out the liners. And what a change liners it is from last season. Of course, the last match Leeds played was at 60 feet at Wigan. Just run through the sides for you now. For Leeds, Alan Tate is at fullback. John Gallagher, Carl Gibson, Craig Innes and Jim Fallon are the three quarters. Gary Schofield and Andy Gregory the half-backs. Mike O'Neill, Colin Maskell, Paul Dixon the front three. Mick Waddle and Gary Mercer, Ellery Hanley make up the pack with Andy Goodway and Sean Wayne as the substitutes. And St Helens, Alan Hunt is at full back, Mike Riley, Gary Connolly, Thierry Patter and Anthony Sullivan the three quarters. Jonathan Griffiths and Augustine O'Donnell are the halves. Jonathan Neal, Bernard Dwyer, Kevin Ward the front three. John Harrison, Sonny Nicol, Shane Cooper the back three with Les Quirk and Paul Forber as the substitutes. Mr Jim Smith of Halifax is the referee. It's going to be Thierry Paddy to kick off. And what a pipe opener for the season this promises to be. St Helens, of course, tremendous side, beat Leeds last season here in the Cup 32-12 and an 8-all draw in the league. And the kick off. It's Gary Mercer picking the ball up immediately, and first touch there for Gary Mercer, signed from Warrington. A lot of speculation about Gary Mercer, and finally it came off as Kiwi signed a 2-year contract with Leeds. Maskell looks for runners, and that's Mick Waddle. And whether Leeds will take time to settle down with so many new men in the side, we'll only have to wait and see, but that's Mercer powering in again. Tate will put the kick in. That's a long kick downfield, and Alan Hunt, his opposite number, picks it up and straight into the reception committee there of Dixon, Hanley and Mike O'Neill, half the Leeds pack. And a fit Mike O'Neill and a fit Ellery Hanley this season will make a big difference to Leeds. John Harrison can't get that ball away. Bernard Dwyer now moved up to Hooker. Sonny Nicol had a disappointing tour there, the big fella from Leeds. Had to come home injured after only the Papua New Guinea part of the tour. Very disappointed and keen to make amends in his first game since then. That's Rapati, that's good tackling from Leeds. Coming up to the last tackle. And that's an attempt at a drop goal. And that sails wide. I think that was Augustine O'Donnell. So Leeds will tap. On the 22, Mike O'Neill bringing that ball away. A lot of speculation in the close season about Paul Dixon. Possible moves to Bradford, Halifax, but Paul lining up today. Hanley now. And the first penalty of the game goes to Leeds. Hanley, quick tap. St snapping there, makes a good 40 yards, but he's brought down. That's good play there from Hanley. Quick thinking there as St Helens hung back waiting for the kick. Gregory, first touch of the ball for the little demon, and immediately puts Mike O'Neill into space. St Helens covering quickly. Gregory again. Schofield, Mercer, and Gibson's put that one down. St Helens in possession, just inside their own half of the field. Gibson couldn't take that past the conditions today, terribly wet and greasy. Torrential rain about half an hour before the kick-off. Good tackle coming in there from Paul Dixon. Nicol. Craig Innes in at the tackle. Kevin Ward. When he's lost that ball, that's got to be forward. Ward attempting to then pass the ball and complain to the referee that he felt that was wrenched out of his hands. The referee says it's a scrum. It'll be the first scrum of the game. The head and ball of Leeds. And Andy Gregory just bringing that ball back. Seems strange seeing Andy Gregory in the Leeds colours after so many years at Wigan. But I know he's fit and raring to go. In fact, that scrum ends in a penalty to Leeds, the second of the game. Andy absolutely delighted to be teaming up again with Dougie Lawton and coming to Leeds. So Schofield now will kick. And he finds touch. Just outside the 22. And Mike O'Neill. You never have to look for Mike O'Neill when somebody's driving that ball off, and that should be 6 more tackles to Leeds. On there. There's Maskill trying to go from acting half back and just knocking on, so Saints will have head and ball at the feed. Jonathan Neal at number 8 there, and that's O'Donnell there. Hero worshipped Andy Gregory in his time at Wigan, and is not going to be overawed, I'm sure, today. Gets that ball out to the Saints side and runs away around the blind side, but quickly covering Hanley and Schofield. And leads up quickly with Mike Waddle. Harrison close to the ground. That's good tackling from Leeds. Leeds will be keen to keep St Helens down here and just wait back for the kick. Good ball there. Oh, that's somebody's missed a tackle, and that's Ellen's coming away with the patty. Oh, and into space. That's good running from Saints. And a knock on in the greasy conditions, and that's disappointing for St Helens. That was good rugby there. He's stopping the clock as St Helens player injured. It's Jonathan Griffiths. Looks like he's got a bang on the side of his head. Janet Griffiths, the St Helens physio, is coming on. So Gregory feeds the ball. And that's a penalty again to Leeds. Shane Cooper offside. Breaking from the pack. Too quick. And Gary Schofield, a fine touch. Just inside the St Helens half of the field. 6 minutes on the clock. Score still 0-0. Both sides testing each other out in this early period. Forwards trying to sort out, get the dominance that will bring both sides classy backs into the action. Carl Gibson having a run now, bringing the ball inside away from the wing. Oh, that's good running there from Alan Tate. Picked up a difficult ball and made ground. Innes. Big things expected of Craig Innes this season. Had a tremendous time, he was telling me, in New Zealand. Hanley knocks on there at acting halfback. In the greasy conditions this afternoon, we're going to see plenty of that. Craig Innes just telling me he had a tremendous close season in New Zealand. He got picked for the New Zealand under-23s. Gary Connolly, Great Britain tourist, and Leeds caught offside. Jonathan Griffiths will kick for touch. Finds touch just inside his own half. Dwyer with the tap. Bringing on Harrison. Kevin Ward. And a knock on there, they're giving against Kevin Ward again, and he doesn't like it, the big fella. So Leeds have the third attempt at a scrum. First 3 all resulting in penalties. And Gregory this time. It's a clean feed, and that's away to Schofield. And Schofield showing the ball and going himself. And Jonathan Griffiths not falling for that. Hanley. And first touch of the ball from John Gallagher at acting half. Mercer. Schofield. Innes now, it's good in space there, and he's showing the ball. Fallon going inside, and he's taking men on. And Connolly and Riley finally bringing him down. Dixon. The crowd there lay their hose from the crowd. It's a high tackle, Gregory. Lovely ball out there. Oh, that ball's been thrown behind. Leeds losing ground. Leeds showing what good football they can play. Gregory's long pass opening them up. Kick put in there and somebody fouled there after that kick. The referee says it's okay. Oh, good running there. That's Mike Riley. What a good tackle. And Jim Fallon. The Saints coming away now. In space. Griffiths kicks through. And this could be the first try. A try there to Gary Connolly. Try out of nothing there for Gary Connolly. So St Helens taking the lead. 10 minutes gone. The try to Connolly. Leeds caught napping and the kick through came, and although Jonathan Griffiths couldn't field his own kick, the ball was kicked on by Connolly, who just had enough legs before the ball went dead to ground that ball with downward pressure behind the line. So Rapati now lining that ball up. A difficult kick. It's 10 metres in from touch and just outside the 22. And that's good. So the Patty converts. And it's Leeds 0, St Helens 6. Well, that try broke down in the Leeds move and a kick. And St Helens kicking on there. We've been playing 12 minutes now. And Schofield will kick off for Leeds. And ball hanging there in the wind. And Griffiths again. Slipping out of tackles. Good tackling there, brilliant. St Helens run down in the middle of the field. Kick comes in. And Gallagher's a long way back to chase for this. Put a stone in top body weight on this season, young Gallagher, as he seeks to make an impact, and this is his third season in professional rugby league. And one man who's made an impact all his career is Alan Tate there, just taking that ball away. Gallagher again. Andy Gregory. Schofield and Leeds moving that ball across. It's with Craig Innes. It's Fallon on a run. Quickly brought down by Mike Riley. Mercer. Gary Mercer, interesting to note, was voted by his fellow professionals the best second row forward in the game last season. The Leeds certainly know what they're getting. Innes again, using his strength. And Schofield couldn't take that pass. And you see from the look on Andy Gregory's face, he's disappointed. So the scramble form then. 10 metres outside the Saints 22. And around there, bringing Mike Riley in from the wing. And the sun shining now at heading left. The torrential rain. Connolly, lovely ball there. The party. Let's it out to Anthony Sullivan, and a good tackle from John Gallagher. Carl Gibson coming in to help. Rapati, Tony Nicol. Formerly the Unslitten Sheffield Eagles, of course. Third season at St Helens. Big money signing. And that's moving that ball out the tackle there. With John Addison again, and St Helens playing some attractive football. Dwyer. And that's a knock on. St Helens certainly exploiting the gaps in the Leeds defence, playing some good football. The Leeds have heading ball on a scrum, 10 metres from their own line. And that's out to Gregory. Tate coming in from full back. Looking for a big impact today, Allen taking his first game for the Liners. Gibson stepping, coming in field. Oh, and he's away, Carl Gibson, that's good running. He won't have the legs on Alan Hunt. But that's a tremendous break there for a player who was linked with Batley. Penalty there to Leeds. Carl Gibson linked with Batley in the close season, but still here as the season kicks off with Leeds, and a tremendous break there. That's put Leeds right slap bang on attack as Schofield's kick finds touch 10 metres, 32 metres from the St Helens line. Mike O'Neill spinning out of tackles. Fallon going to run himself. Tremendously strong Jim Fallon. Maskill bringing Dixon on. They're 10 metres from that line now, and Leeds could do with a try to get back into this game, trailing by the 6 points to 0. Run around there, that's good play, Andy Gregory. Andy Gregory's putting Gary Schofield over for the Leeds first try of the season, and that's what the Leeds fans will be hoping to see more of this season. Slick combination there of handling from the halves. Gregory and Schofield. And John Gallagher it is who's going to have the pleasure, as it were, of kicking at goal. It's about 10 metres in from touch. John Gallagher kicking for goal. And Dean Riddle just bringing on the sand. It's the new fitness guru that Dougie Lawton has brought, New Zealander. Certainly put the players through their paces in pre-season. Plenty of running with the weights ledges on their backs. And on the first night of Andy Gregory's signing, he was struggling to keep up, but I'm assured he's fully fit now and ready to go. So John Gallagher, difficult kick. That's across the face of the post, so it's 4 points to 6 then to Leeds. I'll just take you through that try again there. As you can see, a run around between Gary Mercer and Andy Gregory. Andy Gregory carving up the gap, Gary Schofield in support, and over at the side of the touchline. Gary Mercer will pick up the kick, and he'll run out. He runs out strongly, Gary Mercer, up to the 22. Dixon. Leeds trying to take play away from the danger area. And Mick Waddle. Seen little of Mick Waddle so far in this first quarter of this game. Mike O'Neill. Masker will look for runners and finds Paul Dixon, and Dixon. Oh, that's a good run from Dixon there. Now Leeds have taken play in 5 drives, almost up to halfway. And the kick will come in from Andy Gregory. And that's driven Alan Hunt back deep into his own 22, in fact into his 10 metre area. And Hunt running, showing the ball. A lot of people surprised last week at Alan Hunt's inclusion at full-back, but I've known him all his career, and he's been a full-back long before he was ever a winger with St Helens. Represented Yorkshire and Great Britain at under-19 level at full-back. A penalty there against the Leeds captain, Hilary Hanley. So no head-high tackles at all this season, whether intentional or not. So second Saints penalty of the game. Jonathan Griffiths. It's finding touch just short of halfway. In fact, Tim Smith takes the players in to the Leeds half of the field. And catching the ball, Jonathan Neal. Kevin Ward looking to offload, and Leeds clamping him. That's good play there. That looks like Mick Waddle. Sonny Nicol. St Helens used up 3 drives with the forwards. Made little ground. And now they'll spin the ball through the backs. Run around there. That's a lovely ball, but it's put down. Finally picked up by Tony Sullivan. Three Leeds players reception committee for him as he brings the ball in field. Cooper. John Harrison. Leeds player down injured. Up to the last tackle. And again O'Donnell with the drop. And that's a successful drop kick there from Gus O'Donnell. Popping over those drop goals, a speciality of Duckies. And St Helens now 7 points to 4 to the good. And it's difficult at this early stage of the season. Leeds not had any pre-season games. St Helens had the Charity Shield, of course, a very competitive game last week against Wigan. Mike Riley. Manley throwing him to the floor. Dwyer. Kevin Ward looking to offload again, but clamped. And Smith shouts held, and Ward's finally bundled to the ground. Oh, that's good tackling there on O'Donnell. And the sixth tackle coming up. Ball's in field, and Griffiths kicks left-footed downfield, straight up. Alan Taylor brings that ball back. Mercer. Gregory. Losing the ball from acting half, running with that ball. Mick Waddle. Oh, dummy there, clever play from Mick Waddle. Puts Gallagher away. Gallagher just trying to keep away from the danger area of the touch as far as Leeds are concerned. Gregory, lovely long ball there, Mercer. Schofield. Innes, running into space, Craig Innes. Tate in support, gives him inside ball. That's good play there from Leeds, taking play 30 metres from that St Helens line up to the last tackle. Fallon will find Schofield with the pass, and Alan Hunt will just pick that ball up over his own line and brings it out to within 10 metres of the post. But Leeds again showing clever football there. Mick Waddle throwing the most outrageous of dummies. Shane Cooper been very quiet, Shane Cooper, and Leeds have policed him well. He's a crafty customer and certainly destroyed Leeds. The last twice that Leeds have played St Helens, it was all Shane Cooper man of the match both times. And that's good tackling there again from Mick Waddle. Dwyer inside ball to Sonny Nicol, and again that's good tackling from Mick Waddle. The kick coming in now. And John Gallagher's got a long way to chase this, and it might beat him. The bounce of the ball beats him there. You know, a funny thing from the point of a rugby ball, almost turning at right angles there. 45 degrees into touch, just inside the Leeds 22. So behind them ball, the Leeds who trail by 7 points to 4, and we've been playing 25 minutes. And O'Donnell just picking that ball up and giving it to Andy Gregory. That's out to Leeds. Now Gibson there, looking for runners and nobody coming. And 6 more tackles, says the referee. And Gary Mercer. And St Helens keen to keep Leeds up there in that 22, and Leeds bunching at the moment. And Mercer just taking his time with the ball. Leeds getting back on the feet. Paul Dixon. Schofield. And again it's inside now to Fallon, and Fallon's busted through that first tackle, and he's going Jim Fallon. He's got Hanley with him. And Leeds picking that ball up, that's good play. Just throwing that ball into no man's land, Jim Fallon, but he showed his strength there. Gallagher onto that ball from Tate. And Leeds passing move coming to a halt as Hanley picks up from acting half. Gregory, they'll kick for that corner. Oh, and a superb kick there from the little master, the little general. Louis Lawton describing to me on the day that he signed as a little bantam cock, and certainly showing all the skills, and has had all the skills for a number of years. Andy Gregory, I can well remember him when he in his Warrington days destroying Leeds here, something like 54-16. It was all Andy Gregory. I think every try came from an Andy Gregory pass. Was applauded off the field. So St Helens then heading ball at the scrum, and O'Donnell gets that ball. Griffiths trying to bring Alan Hunt on an inside run, but Leeds having none of that, and Griffiths unceremoniously dumped to the floor. And again, that's good tackling from Leeds. That's Alan Hunt this time. Maskell and Schofield in quickly. Bernard Dwyer. So St Helens used 3 tackles up there and he made no ground whatsoever. Cooper brings Kevin Ward on. And again, well policed by Leeds. Still playing the 22. And the boot. And Jonathan Griffiths is downfield for Alan Tate. And Tate's got a tremendous amount of pace. Fallon has a run himself. And again, showing his strength. That's good thinking there from Jim Fallon. You'll not be happy so far with the progress of Jim Fallon. The high tackle coming in there, and the penalty to Leeds. Round the neck. And Andy Goodway. And Andy Goodway on the field. It's difficult to see who's come on for it at the moment. We've not got our normal spot on the gantry this afternoon. That's occupied by Sky. But it's difficult to see when the substitutes are coming on and off. So John Gallagher will have a kick at goal. And that stiff arm round the neck of Andy Goodway. And this is about 10 metres to the left of the uprights as John Gallagher looks at it. It's about 25 metres, sorry. Out from the line. So Gallagher then with a chance to put Leeds only 1 point behind. And that's through the middle. So that's 6 points then. So Artie gets the game underway again. Andy Goodway.
You come out with these great ideas every now and again, so interesting to get a coffee if I want to.
Mike O'Neill. Oh, that's great running there from Mike O'Neill. Leeds really missed him at the back end of last season. He had a groin injury. Maskell splitting the defence from acting half, but good tackle around the legs there, Ducky O'Donnell. Dixon. Now Hanley waits at acting half. Gregory running with the ball. Schofield trying to duck under there. In fact, that was Maskell. Gregory again puts the kick in. Spinning towards the touchline. Picked up by Mike Riley. And Gregory. Considered to be a high tackle there by the referee. So a spate of penalties coming for these above the shoulder defences, which would have probably gone unpunished last season. Griffiths. Finding touch. 32 metres from that Leeds line. At 27. Dwyer the ball going backwards as a referee, but Dwyer straightening up, but straight into Paul Dixon. And a knock on there. Well, that ball certainly looked as though it was wrenched from his grasp. The referee said it was a knock on, and Leeds will have the advantage of heading ball at the scrum in their own 22. Just 10 minutes from half time. Hanley picking that ball up at the base of the scrum. And some knees there in Hanley's back there from number 12, Sonny Nicol. Results in a penalty to Leeds. 6 of the game, penalties 6-3 to Leeds. Scrum's tied at 4-all. The ones that have actually, the ball has come out of the scrum cleanly. Now Schofield finds touch. Dixon. And again some head-high tackling coming in there. Fallon in the middle of the field. There's Mike O'Neill on now. It's good play. O'Neill on. Goodway just couldn't hold the ball. difficult pass round his ankles. And here comes Saints now with Rapati. And Hanley coming across, and Rapati bumping men off. That's good play. Oh, here comes Saints again. That's tremendous play. Anthony Sullivan looking for support, finds it. And that's put down eventually, and looking for Leeds there. And there's all sorts of happenings, a fight developing. And the referee will stop play there, the touch judge is on. I couldn't quite see what happened there, I was watching the ball, but suddenly a fight developed. And there's players on the floor, it's Ellery Hanley. It'll be interesting to see what the referee decides. Jonathan Ergos O'Donnell was involved there. St Helens not liking the fact that they lost the ball in a good attacking position. Jim Smith consults with both touch judges. Interesting to see what decision he gives. St Helens will certainly kick for goal if they get the penalty. There's about 6 minutes left in this first half of the season. First 40 minutes of a new season, and full of anticipation. All the trials and tribulations of last season are long forgotten. It's like the two loose forwards there that's been spoken to. It looks like Shane Cooper and Ellery Hanley. Could be the fact that it's just the captains that he's talking to. Difficult to see what he's going to give. Like Cooper having plenty to say, and Ellery for once fairly quiet by comparison. And a penalty's been given to Leeds. And Schofield will find touch, and those just on the 22. Mike O'Neill. Another penalty there, holding down. Well, that's silly play from St Helens. Giving away needless penalties, just putting themselves under pressure as we come up to half time. So Schofield will again find touch, and this time that's a better kick, finds touch in the St Helens half of the field. So Leeds with a chance to attack in St Helens territory. Not see much of the ball in St Helens half of the field in this first 40 minutes. Gallagher. Nice goal, throwing that ball anywhere and it's come out. Alan Hunter, what a dangerous player as if he gets in his stride, and he's in his stride now. And nobody will catch Alan Hunt. That's going to be a try to St Helens there. Tried from absolutely nothing at all. Alan Tate's no chance to catching him, so St Helens further in the lead just on half time, and Alan Hunt absolutely delighted, and well he might be. There was nothing on when Colin Maskell passed that ball. Alan Hunt, first receiver, had the legs to go the length of the field, and St Helens now further in the lead with that try to Alan Hunt. So Rapati lining up this kick, which would put St Helens 13 points to 6 in the lead. Tremendous try by Alan Hunt. And Wakefield, of course, Alan Hunt, one of the better players to go across the Pennines. Rapati's kick is not successful, so it remains at 11 points to 6. So that move breaking down when Colin Maskell passed that ball into nowhere. St Helens picked up, moved the ball quickly to Alan Hunt, and despite the attempts of John Gallagher, he had the legs to go all the way. Alan Tate coming across, but nobody was really going to catch Alan Hunt. Try out wide, too wide out for the conversion. Well, Schofield gets the game underway again. Mike Riley handling quickly with Andy Goodway. And into the closing 2 or 3 minutes of this first half. Be a bit of stoppage time. Dump there, that's John Neal. Forward on for St Helens. Over the forward substitute. Les Quirk at the back substitute for St Helens. Dwyer going from back to half. Up to the last tackle, and St Helens will look to use the boot of Jonathan Griffiths. Slips there. And still manages to get his kick in. Schofield showing the ball to Carl Gibson. And taking the line. A good tackle there from Connolly. Innes will have a run himself. Finds Tate, that's good play. Just outside the 22, Leeds hotting up the pace as we approach half time. Jim Fallon. And Leeds within 10 metres now of that line, attacking. Here comes Maskill with that ball, Gregory, Hanley. And Hanley there, clamped almost as soon as he got that ball, couldn't really do anything there. Good way. So up to the last tackle now, and Schofield will put this ball in the air. Actually doesn't, it's lost eventually. Schofield tackled before he had a chance to put the kick up, after signalling as much. Kevin Ward it was who finally come up with the ball. Difficult to see what Jim Smith is going to award there. That looked a perfectly fair tackle. And he's given it, got back in square. And let's Quirk on for Mike Riley. St Helens switch the players round. 40 minutes up on my clock. And that's good play there from St Helens again. Alan Hunt in the line. And St Helens have come 50 yards with that ball. Straight from a standing start at the tap. Didn't kick for touch, and again Leeds caught, as St Helens were earlier on. And Leeds were caught that way last year by Dean Bell. And kick through, and Gallagher will have to run here. And he's down on that loose ball. A good play there from the former Kiwi international. The penalty to Leeds. It's the 9th penalty of this first half to Leeds. It's against 4 to St Helens. Going to be just slowing it down. Take your time. It's almost half time. Schofield. Using the referee there as a foul. High tackle on John Gallagher, as you could see there. Dixon. Maskill look for runners. Finds Andy Goodway. Hanley. Gregory again. And Gallagher brought down over on that far side by Tony Sullivan. Schofield dummies, puts a kick in. That's sends St Helens scurrying back. And well into time added on for stoppages at the moment. O'Donnell injured there, face down in the grass. The ball in his hands. And Janet Griffiths on quickly there. Certainly a pretty physiotherapist, Janet Griffiths. It's rumoured that the St Helens players go down on purpose just to get Janet on with the sponge. And looking at that picture close up, you can see why. So O'Donnell then just winded, I think, in the tackle. Finally gets the ball away to Dwyer. John Harrison. Dwyer and St Helens playing some good football this afternoon. Kevin Ward. Harrison. Forber. All four were playing despite being advised a couple of seasons ago to retire with a serious neck injury. Back passing. Picked up by Leeds. And there goes Outer, so it's too late for Leeds in this half. Maskell it was who dived on that loose ball. I'll just run through the scorers as we come off for half time. Connolly opened the scoring with a try after a kick through by Griffiths and kicked on by Connolly. Rapati scored, that was 6 points to 0. And then Schofield had a try to Leeds after good work by Gregory. It was 4-6. A drop goal from O'Donnell made it 7 points to 4, and then a Gallagher penalty on 28 minutes made it 6-7. Alan Hunt had a try, a length of the field try. It was 11 points to 6, and that's how it stands at half time. So Gary Schofield gets the second half underway, just waiting there for Mr. Smith to signal. Leeds trailing by those 11 points to 6. And Sean Wayne, Leeds substitute on. So that's Andy Goodway and Sean Wayne on for Leeds. All four back. Both sides used both substitutes in the first 40 minutes. To offload the ball, and Goodway wrestles him to the ground. 6 points to 11 Leeds trail. First match of the season in the Stones Bidder Championship, and that's a good kick, but it's safely picked up as far as Leeds are concerned by Alan Tate. And Tate running across the field. A good tackle there from Shane Cooper. Right round the middle, bringing him down. Gallagher goes on a jump from acting half-back. Cooper again, the man. Make the tackle. Maskell showing that ball. Goodway couldn't get the ball away. Leeds used up 4 tackles, not made much ground. Gregory. Schofield, Hanley. Putting Gallagher through the gap, but the gap quickly closing. Schofield puts the kick in. That ball coming off Alan Hunt's legs. In fact, it's Tony Sullivan. And Sullivan. Leeds taking that ball. Have Sullivan and penalty there to the Liners. First half penalties went 9-4 to Leeds and the scrums 5-4 to the Headingley men. So the second half penalty goes to Leeds and puts them on attack. Deep into St Helens 22 and Sean Wayne. He'll try and force his way over and makes ground there as Maskell. Mike O'Neill almost over, held up there. Couldn't get the ball down. Good play there from Leeds. O'Neill just a metre short. Gregory looks to go himself, spins out of the tackle. Andy Gregory again just a metre short. Leeds putting on some pressure now. Schofield and for the run around there, that's putting Hanley on the burst, and that's going to be a try there. That's a try to Leeds. Great play there from Gregory, Hanley, Schofield. So Leeds back in this game and back with a bang. Just 3 minutes into the second half. Try there to Ellery Hanley. So Gallagher has this and Leeds back in the game. 10 points to 11, Leeds could be in the lead for the first time in the game if Gallagher's conversion is successful. And the All Blacks, ex-All Blacks, certainly looks bigger up at the top end. Successful there, so Leeds take the lead for the first time with that conversion by Gallagher. Well, Andy Gregory went close, and then the ball was moved out. Gary Schofield quickly delaying his pass, and Ellery Hanley coming storming on, beat 2 men and another man to take the ball over the line and get the ball down despite the attention of the would-be Saints tackler. And that could be just the fillip that Leeds need to start and play some attractive football. Difficult with all the new men, a lot of players at 6s and 7s, but Hanley showing that ball and going himself. What a great player he is, Ellery Hanley. Pumping men off, showing the ball again. Finally brought down on halfway. Gallagher finds Schofield. Dixon. Schofield again. Oh, that's good play. And Innes now has got Fallon with him. And Innes seemed to have gone into touch before he let that ball go. Difficult there for the touch judge. And probably Innes shielded the ball from the touch judge there as he went in. So again, Leeds keeping that ball moving. Jim Smith not happy with the scrum. It's out to O'Donnell. Griffiths trying all his tricks. Stand off very difficult to play against Gary Schofield. Moving that ball, that's good play again. Patty Sullivan out through the windscreen and picked up by Leeds by Paul Dixon. Gallagher will have a run. Sean Wayne. Gregory controlling things, goes himself. Schofield trying that chip over there, he does so well. Hanley in possession, spinning, stepping out of tackles. But up to the last tackle, Leeds within 20 metres of that post. Hanley loses his boat. Gregory, crossfield kick there, that's the chase. And Leeds in quickly at the tackle. Leeds trying desperately there to keep St Helens penned over their own line, but they won't stop the party. Stronger running that ball out than O'Donnell. Jonathan Neal. This is good tackling from Leeds, keeping St Helens penned deep down in this 10-metre zone. And again up quickly up to the last tackle, so that ball will go back. Watch for the boot of Jonathan Griffiths, tear a patty. It's clouded downfield, but straight to Alan Tate there, and Alan Tate will use Gallagher as a foil. Coming away. Oh, and a good tackle there from Griffiths. Carl Gibson. Hanley goes from acting half, pushes men off. Man and ball. They're 30 metres from the St Helens line, and St Helens moving up quickly. Gregory running around with Schofield. Dixon can't get the ball away, men in support, but not able to get his pass away. Anyway. St Helens in possession there, Leeds losing that ball. And now coming away with Kevin Ward. With a pushing and shoving there from it's a lovely ball from Hunt. Forward a mile there, but it's got to be the first offence. They had a ball to Leeds, just inside the St Helens half of the field. Leeds 12 points to 11 in the lead. It's coming up to the 10th minute of this second half. The first game of the new season of the Stones Bidder Championship. A tremendous opener as far as Leeds are concerned. And tempers are becoming frayed here. And Jim Smith has a hard job to get a grip of both these packs.
Oh, this is yours.
And feed up there and a penalty to Leeds. That's Schofield. Oh, Leeds now, and you lay that crowd in the south stand cheering there as Leeds come on the attack again with Sean Wayne. John Gallagher there. Caught man and ball at acting half.
No, that's the tender, that's the main.
Dixon plays that ball to himself. Well, that's either a penalty one way or the other. Jim Smith there. That's bad refereeing. It was either the man had a marker, and if he had it was a penalty, and if he hadn't then the player shouldn't have touched him while he'd run 10 metres. Gregory again. Finds Innes. Innes chipping over. And Allen safely in his arms. Forber. Good tackle from Mike O'Neill. And again Leeds looking to keep St Helens pending this 10 metre zone in front of their own line. Sonny Nicol. Oh, good tackling from Leeds, but that's up round the neck, says the referee. And that's a penalty, so the good work comes to nothing. And very difficult while the players get to know these new rules. No contact allowed at all, above shoulder high, whether intentional or not. O'Dwyer will take the tap. Getting in a mess there with Paul Forber. John Harrison. Hooper goes himself. Oh, that's a good tackle by Hanley. Well, that definitely wasn't round the neck there. That was definitely below the shoulder. In fact, it was almost round his waist. O'Donnell looks winded. Jonathan Griffiths will be entrusted with that kick for touch. And Jim Smith just telling him to keep the tackles down. Given against Leeds for high tackles. And this is just bringing St Helens ever nearer to the Leeds line. Cooper takes a quick tap. Sonny Nicol running across the field. And he's knocked on, and you hear the ironic cheers from the crowd. So Leeds have head and ball at the scrum. Sonny Nicol looks disappointed. Jim Smith not happy with the scrum. So Andy Gregory gets another chance to feed. This time it's out to him. Gallagher puts the ball down. Good running there from Kevin Ward. Danger zone as far as Leeds are concerned, 10 metres from that line. Forber. 3 consecutive penalties put Leeds in this position. We've got a Conley there, that's good tackling from Jim Fallon and Craig Innes. And I think Griffiths were up to the last tackle. O'Donnell puts the up and under. Cooper kicks the throw. And Leeds, has he given the try? Yes, he's given the try there, so that's a bad mistake from Leeds, and that's could have cost them the game there. Mike O'Neill just dilly-dallying over whether to kick that ball dead. There's absolutely nothing on when Shane Cooper put the kick through, and all St Helens tries have come from Leeds mistakes. Difficult to see who scored for St Helens. So the Patty then has this chance to put St Helens 17 points to 12 in the lead. And that's not successful. So Gary Schofield gets that ball underway, and Leeds trailing now 15-12. Soft try there, conceded. So Leeds have it all to do again if they're to get anything out of this game. Connolly dumped backwards there by Hanley and Carl Gibson. Harrison. Leads up. Quickly keeping St Helens pending the 22. Patty goes himself from acting half. Tremendously strong player is Patty, and gives it to Nickel. And Nickel brought down St Helens, losing ground, but still trying to play attractive football. Dwyer. Referee spots something there. It's a penalty to Leeds, not playing the ball correctly. And O'Donnell looked as though he'd been sent to fetch the ball, kicking it away. And John Gallagher will have a kick at goal. She's practically straight in front of the post, some 26-27 metres from that line. This would put Leeds to within 1 point again of St Helens. Gallagher just taking his time. A lot of work on the pavilion there. As Gallagher kicks straight through the middle. So 14 points to 15. Leeds trailing then. So play just on the hour. Stay party. The game restarted again, 14 points to 15. It's been certainly even Steven all the way through. But all St Helens tries coming from Leeds mistakes, and that won't have pleased Dougie Lawton. Players take some time to settle down and adjust. 6 new players on show today. Lasker puts his head down and goes, and that should be 6 more. Patty waves it on. Cooper kicking at the play of the ball. Sean Wayne stepping. Gregory. Mike O'Neill. And he's well policed as he got that ball. Nowhere to go there for the New Zealander. Dropping the ball. And that's 6 more tackles to Leeds. St Helens deemed to have been in control of that ball. And O'Donnell incurring the wrath of the Leeds players there. Referee, will he decide now? He'd already decided it was a ball to Leeds. Now he's given a scrum. And he's obviously given the first offence. It'll be O'Donnell to feed the scrum. Penalty there to St Helens. John Neal. They're just outside the Leeds 22. St Helens trying to exert some pressure. And another penalty as Mr Smith decides that every tackle is suddenly becoming above the shoulder. And surely Saints will have a kick at goal this time. Try and put them that 3 points in front. Stop-start sort of a game. 12 penalties to Leeds, 9 to St Helens. And numerous fiddling about at the scrum. As both sides struggling with this new rule that's been brought in, nothing above the shoulder high. It certainly didn't look above shoulder high as somebody had hold of somebody's shirt. So the party has his chance then to put St Helens 17 points to 14 in the front. And he's missed it. So they'll drop out on the 22. The sun comes out again at Headingley. Beautiful day now. Schofield's drop goes well downfield. That's Alan Hunt there. Crowd shouting for a knock on. And Hunt just slipping as he tries to sidestep Maskill. Farber. Connolly now using his speed. That's good play from Connolly. Tate's coming across. He's got Sullivan inside. And the walk catch Tony Sullivan. That's going to be a try. Right under the post. Straight from the kick-off. St Helens moving that ball out. Connolly breaking down the touchline side. And inside there for Tony Sullivan. So St Helens further in front now. And that's under the post. '65th minute, St Helens further in front there, and St Helens have caught Leeds out wide on 2 occasions now. And Leeds not been in possession for the last 10 minutes or so, and this is beginning to tell now. St Helens just coming away straight from that dropout and scoring again. Patty's kick successful. Well, as the ball was moved out there after Hunt slipped quickly, Connolly using his speed down that touchline side. As the cover came across to get him, Alan Tate. Inside was Tony Sullivan, and he sprinted away under the post despite Jim Fallon's attentions and those of Tate, who got back well but couldn't stop him from scoring under the post. Rapadi converted. It's 21 points to 14. Farber. Nickel struggling there under the weight of numbers to get down. Again, Nickel in possession, and Dixon bringing him down. Chip overs for O'Donnell, but Tate's there first. And good play from Alan Tate. Leeds now trying to get something from this game. And it's a penalty to the Liners. Let's go for it, I think. Will he kick for touch? In fact, the tap's been taken. Gregory. Going himself, lost the ball. Farber ducking under tackles. Party there. Hanley bringing him down. It's a good tackle from Ellery Hanley. Up quickly there to play the ball. Kevin Ward. Jonathan Neal. St Helens just content to keep this ball in the folds as they bring it away from the post. Harrison. There's John Harrison. And back for the kick of Griffiths. Now on take. Paul Dixon. Taking play up to halfway. Just 10 minutes left. Good way. And this finds Gregory. Schofield in with the ball. It's Gallagher through the gap. Schofield kicks and finds touch. Keeping the St Helens 22. That's a good kick there from Gary Schofield. Leeds struggling to put anything together on attack.
Have a coffee.
The scrum will form. O'Donnell to feed. Cooper. Kevin Ward. Cooper again. It's dropped. By Jonathan Neal. Schofield waiting for that. And interfering there, Neil, at the play of the ball. So, Leeds get a penalty. They're 14th of this game, 14-9. Not making the most of the penalties, trailing on the scoreboard by 21 points to 14. Mike O'Neill. Leeds 5 metres out now and pushing strongly. The crowd really behind him. Gregory dodges, weaves, goes himself. Can't escape the tackle there, and well wrapped up by Kevin Ward. Schofield. Hanley cleaning up for Leeds, but Leeds have lost 25 metres in that attack. Good way, pushing men off Gibson. Now Gallagher with a clearing at line. He's only got Alan up to beat. He's taking him on the outside. That's Hanley. Back inside there. Good way. Schofield. Gibson again. Gregory. Leeds just panic football, playing catch-up football. And that's the 6th tackle, says Jim Smith, so it'll be the turnover. Sonny Nicholl will come away for St Helens. Despite the attention of 3 Leeds tackles, he makes his proverbial 10 metres. Farber. McCarthy with him. Griffiths. Oh, that's a good pick up there by Alan Tate. A good tackle from Johnny Sullivan. It's a tackle round the neck, so Leeds have a penalty. Coming into the last 6 or 7 minutes of this game. And Leeds have a lot to do if they get anything out of this. 21 points to 14 in arrears. And Danny Schofield's kick not finding touch. Tony Sullivan bringing the ball back. Harrison. Knock on there. Ball thrown away in disgust by Jonathan Griffiths. So heading ball at the scrum to Leeds. To Gregory. Tate trying to come through the gap. Gibson goes himself. He'll step inside. It's a good tackle from Kevin Ward. Gregory. Lost that ball and it's kicked on by Griffiths. And this could be another try for St Helens. Griffiths. And a try there again from a Leeds mistake, so that's well and truly buried now the liners. A try to Jonathan Griffiths. Certain Leeds will not be winning this opening day Stones bit of championship fixture. And Leeds gifted St Helens 4 of the 5 tries, all coming from Leeds mistakes. And the latest one there, Mike O'Neill couldn't hold the ball. Jonathan Griffiths kicked on 3 or 4 times under no real pressure and just fell over the ball over the try line. McCarthy with the kick. And it's there. So 27 points to 14. And Dougie Lawton won't be happy as he watches the video. That's a knock on straight from the kick-off. Tony Gregory. Schofield. Very good game this afternoon. Another neck tackle there from Sonny Nicol. Gregory. Ball lost again there by Leeds. Connolly coming away. Corber just taking his time now, no need to rush. This game well and truly won as far as St Helens are concerned. We're almost up to full time now, about a minute to go. Shane Cooper will put the kick in. Spins down. Picked up by Jim Fallon. coming in field. Schofield dropping the ball up backwards as a referee. Schofield loses his boot in the process. Mike O'Neill through the gap. They get quickly closing Andy Gregory's pass. Kicks for Gallagher. Gibson to chase. Hunt beats them all and comes away. Back down the middle of the field. And tremendous pace, Alan Hunt. Finally brought down by Gary Schofield, still without his boot on. Cooper. Penalty there. Deemed not to have had a marker and taking this offside. So the penalty's then 10 to St Helens, 16 to Leeds in the scrums, 8-6 to the Liners. The score that really matters is on the scoreboard. Leeds 14, St Helens 27. Pin him to the 22. It's 10 metres from that Leeds line again. And Leeds will be keen not to concede any more points as we come up to the end of this game. St Helens scored just before half time. Griffith trying the drop. That's offside. And then Sonny Nicol. So let off there for Leeds. And the Goodway taps. And Gallagher comes inside. A short ball for Dixon there. Dixon tackled on the 22. Mike O'Neill. Mallory Hanley. Will go himself from that to now. Finds Schofield. Lovely ball there, and that's better play, Tate. Good way. Gallagher now in space inside to Hanley. And there goes a Hunter, so Leeds go down by 14 points to 27 on this opening weekend of the Stones Bidder Championship. And Craig Innes, number 4, getting the Leeds man of the match, but it's all academic for Leeds. Have been well and truly beaten here this afternoon. Gifted St Helens 4 of the 5 tries. Barry Connolly opened the scoring for St Helens on as early as the 10th minute. Rippardi converted. That was after a kick through by Jonathan Griffiths, and it was 6-0. And Gary Schofield had a try after lovely work from Andy Gregory. It was 6-4. O'Donnell had a drop goal to put St Helens 7 points to 4 in the lead. And on 28th minutes, Gallagher replied with a penalty. The Leeds looked like they were going to trail 6-7 at half-time. But Alan Hunt had other ideas. Came up the north stand touchline side, left everybody for dead. He went over in the corner, too far out for the Paddy's goal, and it was 11-6. Leeds it back immediately, took the lead in 43rd minute when Hanley ran off a beautiful ball from Schofield. Gallagher converted, it was 12 points to 11. Then Hunt had his second try, it was 15-12. And then Leeds it back with a penalty to Gallagher, 14-15. Sullivan had a try straight from the kick-off for a party. Converted, it was 21-14, all over for Leeds, and certainly was when Griffiths took advantage of a Mike O'Neill mistake. Kicked the ball downfield 3 times and gratefully fell over the try line. It was 14 points to 27. That's how it stayed at the final whistle. I'll give you the stats. The penalties went 16-10 to Leeds and the scrums 8-6. So it's disappointing news here from Edinburgh today that Leeds have gone down in the opening fixture of the Stones Bidder Championship. Final score, Leeds 14, St Helens 27.